Hey, what's up guys? Justin from Vanguard Vlogs here with the angular deck profile. It's at an angle because visual stimuli. Anyways, this is the deck profile for the last week of BT14 deck profile that you guys are going to see. And the last deck profile you're probably going to see out of me until... I should probably make that Dungeon World one. But until 15 comes out, and week of BT15 is going to be a crazy motor trucking week. You know what I'm saying, girl? Anyways, this is a Dauntless, Dominant Drive, Dragon Reverse, Magical, Fun Time deck. Yay. Started with the starter, which is where everybody starts. Dragon Knight, Sagaduga. Now, I know a lot of people use Conroe, which I understand, because Conroe is totally banned in Japan, and he's really, really good. However, this deck is super focused on retiring. It's almost like a light Narukami deck with a lot of beaters. So this unit's effect is put this unit into your soul. When a rearguard is put into the drop zone due to an effect from one of your cards, if you have a Kagero Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses one of his or her rearguards and retires it. That's what makes this starter so good. Because your opponent has to choose, you can pull off some really good combos, like forcing them to retire X out of X, and then they have to retire that one that they wouldn't have normally had to because they have to choose. And down here, I won't go specifically, but I'm doing 6 crit, 6 draw, 4 heal. Mainly because there's really, like, if you go get behind in hand size in this deck, which is very easy, you put yourself at a big risk. So I thought the draw triggers would be a really good help for that. Plus, Gatling Claw Dragon, it can retire a grade 0, and if you get that off early game to retire one of your opponent's starter, it's going to really throw them off. Especially for certain decks like Blouse and stuff like that. And Novell, people play Novell with the Conroe. 4 Embodiment of Armor Bar, the OG is Tussler. 4 of my least favorite perfect card ever, Dragon Dancer Maria. I'm running 4 of her. I'm probably going to get older ones just because I like the art better, but they have these, so I have them now. 4 of the brand new Diable Drive Dragon. He's the 10k attacker when your Vanguard has Dauntless in the name. 2, and this might get up to 3, but 2 Dragon Knight Akram, who is Soul Blast 1. When this unit boosts the unit with Dauntless in its name, pay the cost if you do. Boost the unit gets 6k, so he's a 10k booster. Now on to grade 2s. We got 2 Berserk Dragons. Unfortunately, I don't have the other Berserk Dragon with me. I don't know where it is. 2 Berserk Dragons. Counterblast 2, he's basically Blaster Blade. When you play him, Counterblast 2, retire one of your opponent's rearguards. Awesome card. Combos really well with Bellicosity Dragon, which is when this unit attack hits your opponent's Vanguard, put a damage face up. Then, and this is the weird choice, I've always held on to these cards because I knew they'd be very useful one day, and I really just dig them in general. It's called the Baby Break Ride. Prowling Dragon Stricken. Again, a lot of Novell players use this card. When this unit, it has restraint, so it can't attack when it's on the Vanguard circle. When this unit is attacked, if there's no boosting units, this unit gets 5,000 power until the end of the battle. When another Kagero arrives to this unit, choose one of your Vanguards, and that unit gets 5,000 and a critical. Now, a lot of people use this in conjunction with Cruel Dragon, because obviously that boosts them up to 3 crit as soon as it's a ride. But it works really well just to keep up the pressure when you first ride your Break Ride. Suddenly you're swinging for an early attack. It's kind of like, again, to draw the comparison in Narukami, it's a lot like if you were playing Vowing Saber and you shove the Vowing Saber starter into your soul, you get that extra crit really early. And finally we have Dominant Drive Dragon, which is the 12k Dauntless attacker. Very pretty card, nice foiling. And then finally the meat and potatoes of the deck, the cards that are really important. The Dauntless Drive Dragon, which is the Break Ride, and Dauntless Dominant Dragon Reverse. God, the name's a friggin' mouthful. So this is one of the reasons why this card is so cheap. This card runs for about $8 to $10, like 20 at the most for an SP. This card runs for like $45. So in turn, nobody's really making this deck for 2 reasons. One, it's because if you have these Dauntlesses, then you pretty much go halfway. You meet yourself halfway and you make the Novell deck, because the Novell deck is like another 160 to 200 on top of that. And you don't make this because obviously it's not as good. But, I mean, it's like half the price of the Novell deck, so I don't really see where the appeal is kind of falling off for this card. Because, I mean, these cards are still good together. It's a cross break ride. They're pretty. They have a good retire effect. So I don't know. People are weird. I guess it's because Novell is so good, but I just don't think Novell is very fun. I think this is a lot cooler. It's because he's so swag. Look at his crossed arms. He's like, I'm a cool guy. And then he's like, I'm gonna eat you. Anyways, Dauntless Drive Dragon is basically a restanding magical break ride, which is when you ride a unit over it, it gets 10,000, and if the unit hasn't already restood this turn, you restand it at the end of the battle. Is there any other condition? I always forget. Yeah, all it has to do is if there's no other way to stand. The reason they put that in there is so that you can't, like, Dragonic Overlord and be like, oh yeah, attack, stand, attack, stand, attack, stand, attack, stand, attack, stand. They just wanted you to do it twice with Dauntless. Good card, though. Good with the end. And then Dauntless Dominant Dragon Reverse is Counterblast 1. Choose one of your Kagero rear guards and lock it until the end of the turn. This unit gets a Vanguard effect in which when he drive checks a grade 1 or higher Kagero unit, you retire one of your opponent's is it grade 1 or less rear guards. And you get 3,000 power. So even if they don't have any of the rear guards, 3,000 is often just enough to get over. Most people don't do it so that when they guard, it's exactly one to pass, because that would often like push it to guard. They'll do it so that it's like maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 to pass, and that gets you really, really close if you don't get the triggers you're looking for, which is a really, really cool effect. And plus, with Dauntless, you restand him, you can retire up to 4, comboing with Sedeg up to 5 rear guards. This deck is honestly just like, it's such a good deck. It's such a shame more people just don't have it, because like I don't know anybody who has this deck. I've never seen it played or talked about in America, and as far as I know, it received like a minor amount of play in Japan, but Novell tends to dominate the Kagero landscape and a lot of the tournaments, and I think Novell is the toilet. It's dumb and stupid, as Jay would say. It's toilet, just because it's a total autopilot, boring, everybody hates you for playing it type of deck, and I just don't enjoy playing against it. And I have all the cards I need for it, I just don't enjoy playing with it. I think this is a lot more fun. It requires a lot more strategy. When to hold, when to fold. See you next time on Vanguard Vlogs. Hugs.